It absolutely pains me to say this. It is not easy for me. I know this is going to get a lot of pushback. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, and you know what? That's personally fine, but frankly, I think this is a sore spot in Tesla's history. The original Roadster was supposed to be based on the Lotus, and Elon said that was a mistake. It would have been way easier and way cheaper to build a brand new EV from the ground up. It was the first ever Tesla, but it was a pain in the butt for the company to try to retrofit an existing platform. Like 90% of the parts had to be redesigned and replaced, and there was a bunch of service issues. The original Roadsters didn't even have the NACS port. They still don't. They didn't have the supercharger network yet. Again, it's a two-seater and it's expensive. So then flash forward to December of 2017. Nearly 6 years ago, when Tesla was in the middle of production hell of the Model 3, they unveiled the Tesla Semi and the next generation Roadster, and the crowd goes wild, right? And Elon's underlying message about this next generation Roadster is that it's meant to say to the world that electric cars can be just as fast, just as good, if not better than all gas cars. It's supposed to be the ultimate smackdown. And then you notice a few years go by, they go pretty silent after taking $50,000 and $250,000 deposits for this vehicle that is still not even in production yet. But when Tesla launches the Plaid Model S in the summer of 2021, Elon actually starts using the exact same verbiage. The point of the Plaid Model S is to showcase that electric cars can be just as good, if not better, than all gas cars. It's meant to be the ultimate smackdown. And then Tesla figured out how to turn a 5-seater hatchback sedan into an insane sports car that is capable of achieving most of those original insane claims that the Roadster had. And since Tesla has been so late with the Roadster, but they have been delivering on Plaid Model S's and X's, now reaching record low prices for any kind of vehicle that could do 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. Well, then you got other companies out there like Lucid coming out with the Sapphire, probably going to bankrupt themselves with that vehicle alone. But then also you have the Rimac Nevera, which is now targeting 0 to 60 in under 1.9 seconds, achieving insane speeds. And sure, a lot of you may say, well, Rimac Nevera is like a supercar, it's like $2.5 million. The Roadster is going to be like $200,000 or $300,000, so it's a lot more affordable. And the Roadster, of course, is supposed to be faster than the Rimac Nevera because Elon's gonna put a cold gas thruster in the back of it. And the question I ask is, okay, is this actually supporting Tesla's mission statement anymore? If the goal is to change the narrative about electric vehicles and prove to the world that they can be just as good as gas, is there really, electric vehicle deniers out there that are gonna be convinced by putting a rocket engine on the back of an electric car that this means electric cars are the future? Like, I don't think this is actually going to sway that many people. In fact, since the original Roadster unveiling in 2017, the whole paradigm shift surrounding EVs has been quite obvious. Like, governments, not just in the United States, but across the world have started mandating that all vehicle sales must be electric by a certain year. There's federal tax credits incentivizing new EV sales all the time. And especially when it comes to higher price vehicles, everybody's struggling to find buyers. Lucid's not getting buyers, and Tesla even has had to cut prices drastically on their Model S and X vehicles, which arguably are far more reasonable. We're talking $80,000 or $70,000 for a 5-seater sedan. Far more people are going to buy that than a $200,000 sports car. So I suppose your counter argument could be, well, Tesla Roadster isn't meant to be high volume production. It could just be in a little corner of Fremont. And I've been suggesting that and asking for that for years now, especially because so many people put down massive deposits or racked up a ton of referrals through the referral program years ago, back when the referral program was promising people that if you made 50 referrals, you could get a free Tesla Roadster. Well, those people still don't have their free Roadsters, and now Tesla's starting new giveaways. Oh yeah, we're gonna give away a Cybertruck, and then we're gonna give away a Model 3 Performance. They're making new raffles and doing more giveaways, even though they haven't acknowledged the giveaway they started 6 years ago. And I'm not blaming Tesla for delaying the Roadster, honestly. It makes a lot of sense because the Roadster is dessert, as Elon calls it. It's not that important to the overall mission statement because it's going to be selling at such low volume, and pretty much everything else Tesla's been working on is more important than the Roadster. Yeah, there's way more sales for pickup trucks, so the Cybertruck takes priority. But then once the Cybertruck deliveries begin, the next priority is going to be the next generation vehicle platform. And if Tesla wants to achieve these goals of growing at 50% production every single year, you have to get really aggressive about which countries are going to allow you to build gigafactories fast faster and faster. Giga Mexico appears to be delayed because of paperwork and permits, and probably governors overpromising how quickly Elon would be able to put up his factory there, and that's why they're pushing more Model 2 development back to Giga Texas. And when they're distracted with the development of robo-taxis, and Elon's time seems to be all about, actually, Optimus, that's gonna be our next big project. Once we get robo-taxis figured out, then we can apply our general artificial intelligence to robots that can then start replacing the labor force. All of these things that Elon's excited about and that Tesla's excited about are always going to take priority over the two-seater $300,000 sports car, because they know that's not going to boost their market cap all that much. It's not a large market, and Tesla's thinking more big picture about everything these days. How can we ramp up production of the Tesla Semi to higher volumes? How can we get a $25,000 car that is more profitable in more regions? And I wish I could say there's rumors or there's leaks going around that Tesla's testing the new Roadster and hopefully they're going to start shipping it next year, but the truth is there's really been no talk. Very little evidence to suggest that the Roadster's around the corner, and if anything, Fremont is going to be very busy over the next couple years, switching over to Project Highland with the Model 3, which isn't ready yet in the United States, but it is ready internationally. And then after the Model 3 gets switched over, then it's going to be a debate of, okay, when do we switch the Model Y over to the new ambient lighting setup and the updated taillights? And simultaneously, there's also rumors that Kato Road has been shut down so that they can upgrade the 4680 line to these next generation cells with higher energy density. There's so much busyness going on now at Fremont, and Giga Texas is no different. They're trying to ramp up Cybertrucks and desperately trying to expand the floor space of the Gigafactory because it's already tapped out just building Model Ys and Cybertrucks. At some point, hopefully, they start building the Cyber Quad as well. But even the Cyber Quad is probably going to be a bigger market and probably in higher demand than the Tesla Roadster. So essentially, my point is, if your mindset as to why Tesla can keep delaying the Roadster is, well, there's other things going on that are more important, well, there will always be something more important because, frankly, in the grand scheme of the EV transition, what we need more of is not $300,000 sports cars. Rimac is making that for people who want to make YouTube videos. They'll let Marquez borrow one and he'll drive it around and have a lot of fun with it. But then he's still going to go back to driving around a Rivian or a Model S, a more practical vehicle that can actually store more stuff and sit more people and still have great performance. That's where I think a lot of the market demand is, and I don't see Tesla tackling these little niches like, oh yeah, insanely expensive sports car, even though it's technically cheaper than a Rimac Nevera. Like, people don't buy the Rimac Nevera because it's a great value. I don't think the goal with those expensive supercars is to save money. Like, people buy those expensive cars to flex that they have money because they are expensive. And I just hate the fact that Tesla keeps pushing it off and just keeps saying, oh, maybe next year, maybe next year. They've been doing that for so long now, and it's just killing the people who put down these huge deposits. And I think a cancellation of the Roadster that just admits, okay, you know what? The world doesn't need a Tesla Roadster. We'll be fine without one. We've got enough on our plate as it is. I think, while that would be very sad for a couple weeks, there would be a lot of negative headlines. Maybe the stock would dip temporarily, but it doesn't change the bottom line of the company. But with all of those downsides, I think it would also bring closure to the people who are waiting for one, people who racked up a lot of referrals and were hoping for a free one, people who put down $250,000 deposits 6 years ago. Those people, if, when you canceled the Roadster, you said, okay, you're gonna get your money back, and as an apology, we're gonna give you a massive discount or let you buy a free Tesla of any kind. We'll give you a Plaid Model S free of charge with FSD, with any options you want on it, and you can choose if you want it this year or you can redeem it next year when there's some newer version available, or just basically giving those people back insanely large Tesla gift cards basically and saying you can use this money on your next couple Teslas or something. Because I'm excited for the future of the company. There's a lot of products that are just now coming out, and we're excited for the next generation vehicle platform, which of course is going to be so much more influential and so much more impactful than a Tesla Roadster would. As cool of a vehicle as it is, and I'm admired by its beauty personally, I think it's Franz's best work. I think it's the best looking Tesla. I still have to admit that putting a cold gas thruster on the back so that you can do 0 to 60 in 1 second, I don't even know if that's legal in many places. They would have to basically limit its performance unless you're specifically on a track. And even then, is that really going to convince people that Tesla makes the best cars? In my opinion, that's kind of like cheating in the overall acceleration game. It's like, okay, your propulsion is no longer just reliant on, electric motors anymore. So therefore, the point of the Roadster being this status symbol and this pure marketing image to, hey, the Tesla brand is getting talked about everywhere, I don't think that really matters at the end, because people who are doubtful of Tesla, who don't like Tesla, aren't going to see a Roadster with a cannon on the back and start thinking, okay, you know what, Tesla's kind of cool when I think about it. No, they're still going to prefer the Rimac Nevera or the Bugatti or the Porsche because they're more legacy auto fanboys. And what's really going to convince more people that Teslas are the future is lower prices, better range, and the improved charging network, which they're already focused on. And at least according to their investor relations documents, it appears that's what their focus is on. So I would just say it's going to be hard and a lot of people are going to be upset, but rip the band-aid off. Just announce that you're not going to make it, because clearly you're so distracted with so many other more important projects. I can't even really blame you for that. Even the Tesla bot is probably more important than making an even faster Tesla. I just start to get tired with all the performance stuff. Maybe that's why I'm having a harder time getting behind it. Like, I've been in very fast Teslas already, and then I've had people say, oh, well, just wait till you try the performance. Oh man, the performance is crazy. And then you get in the Model S long range and people are like, wow, this is so fast, but wait till you try the Plaid. And then you try the Plaid and people go, wow, that was insane, but wait till the Roadster comes out. Okay, like, we've established this, guys. All right, Teslas are fast. I think people know that, and there's always going to be another step, and we can go higher and higher and higher, and Elon can get crazier and crazier and say, you know what, the Roadster's actually going to have the ability to fly around, but we just don't know how to get the engineering of that right, but I'm too distracted with Optimus now. Like, frankly, if Tesla thinks what's going to make them a $10 trillion company is autonomous level 5 robotaxis, then isn't a world full of robotaxis make the Roadster kind of pointless? Robotaxis are going to be about, like, safety and cost and no longer requiring people to own a vehicle. So if we're in a robotaxi world, why do we need to focus so much on how fast a two-seater vehicle can be when Rimac is basically already proving to the world how absurdly quick an electric vehicle can be? I don't think we also need Tesla to be proving that exact same thesis. So for nostalgic reasons, I understand the love. I understand why people are like, yeah, but just make it though, because it's really cool and I would like it to exist. Yeah, in the same way we all want a cyber SUV to exist, and we all want Tesla to offer like 30 different color options and all that, but that doesn't mean they're gonna do it. That doesn't mean it's a good idea for the company. That doesn't mean it's a good use of engineering resources and time, because the truth is the amount of demand they get for the Roadster, for one, they'd have to give away like the first 80 because of the referral program, so that's just a drop in the bucket. But the amount of money it would not just take to build the Roadsters, but also maintain the Roadsters with Tesla service and have a manufacturing line at some factory, which is already super busy with either Highland refreshes, 4680 production, or next-gen vehicle preparation. There's just not a good fit for it, in my opinion. And after the initial wave of excitement and demand flows in, probably after just a few months, like, okay, the Roadster's out, then no one would be that interested in it. And I don't think that many people would buy it, and Tesla likely wouldn't even sell it at a profit at that point because of all of the upfront investment it would take to get that assembly line growing. Even if it was just building, you know, a couple of them by hand every single month, you know, if it was that simple, I feel like they would have done it by now. I've been saying for years, it would make sense that Tesla could do more than one thing at a time, right? Can't they ramp the Cybertruck and also be working on the Roadster? But because there's been so little evidence of any kind of testing, you know, no sightings around any factory, there's drones flying over both Fremont and Giga Texas all the time. We don't see any Roadsters driving around doing drag strip tests, and there's just so much more important things that they're focusing on. I'd say let's just end this. Let's bring closure to the Roadster and let it just be an interesting memory in Tesla's history. Maybe you can auction off some of the prototypes or something and let the YouTubers borrow it for a video or two, something like that. But would you guys prefer it if Tesla just keep delaying it and say next year, next year, next year? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below. And thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.